Hello friends, welcome back to the next lecture. This is a very important lecture as far as automation is concerned. So this lecture is about error handling. How do we do the error handling in VbScript? So the complete error handling functionality that we use in QTP is a part of VbScript. QTP doesn't provide any such thing. Okay. So we'll start with the topic. We'll go through all these questions one by one. Let's create a new test here. Name it as error handling. And paste it, comment it, and so that we can go through all the questions one by one. So the first question is, what is an error? Okay. So we can say error is any program or any instance wherein your actual execution is disturbed is known as an error. Okay. Now this error can be categorized into three categories. One is a syntactical error. The second one is logical error, and third one is runtime error. Okay, let's see first what is syntactical error. So as I told you guys in the previous lecture that if I'm writing a if statement, okay, or a for loop, the case of the for loop doesn't matter. I can write for in small or capital or mixed. Okay, but if in case I forget to write the next statement, okay, then it is what it is a syntactical error. Similar with the case of if. Let's say I'm writing a statement, okay, wherein I say dim x comma y, x is equal to some value and y is equal to some value. I give a condition saying that if x is equal to y, and somehow I forgot to write the then statement, okay, and then I say message box just true, and in the else part I'll say message box not equal. Okay, so this is example of a syntactical error. And if there is a syntactical error in the code, okay, as soon as I try to save this code, okay, I'll this VbScript will throw me an error. It will throw me an error saying that okay, there's some syntactical error and you need to fix it first. Then only your code will get executed. Otherwise, your code will not executed. In other words, we can say if there is a syntactical error in your code that cannot be handled programmatically. If I think that I can handle this in some way while execution, this cannot be handled. Your code has to be syntactically correct in order to get executed. So I need to write then here, and then if I try to save it, you see all my errors are gone. Now this code will get executed properly. So it is giving me not equal. Now let's see the second category of errors. The second category of errors are logical errors. These are logical errors. So suppose we have a program again, dim x and y. We all know that any number x is equal to, and let's say we are taking this input from an Excel sheet or from the user, or we are reading these values from any application, okay, and your job is to divide these values and give the output, okay. So your job is to divide these values and give the output. Z is equal to x by y, okay, and I say message box set. So syntactically there is no issues. Let me save this program, try to save this program. This program got saved successfully. Syntactically there are no issues in the program. But what is the issue? The issue is logically this program is not correct. Till the time y is some other value like 1, 2, 5, 10, 100, this program will execute perfectly. But the moment y becomes 0, anything divided by 0 is what? A infinity. Okay. This program becomes logically incorrect. So when you try to execute this program, QTP will throw us an error saying that there is a division by 0 error that is occurring at this line. So you have to fix that. Fix it. So let's say you are executing a test case, you are executing a test suite of 100 cases, and this error came in let's say fifth case. Okay. So your program execution will stop there. It will halt there unless until you fix that issue. Okay. And that is what we as automation engineer we never want. Okay. We want that okay, once we have started my test suite execution, it should execute till the end, and then at the later point of time I can see okay, this, let's say out of this 100 this 10 test cases failed because of this reason, this 90 are passed, so I have to fix the issue and run this 10 cases again. Okay. We'll talk about how to fix it, how to handle it, okay, but after we discuss the runtime errors. Okay. Now what is runtime error? These are the toughest kind of errors to catch and to handle, we can say. So the examples are like, let's say I want to click an object. Let's say I want to do a login into any website through UFT, and I entered a username and I entered a password, and the login button was previously named as login, but now it is changed to submit. So basically what will happen that QTP will not able to understand that object, okay, because it remembers that object with the name login, but now it is changed to submit. Okay. So at that point of time, your program is logically correct, your program is syntactically correct, but this is a kind of runtime error where QTP is not able to find the object. It will throw a find the object. Okay. Or let's say you are trying to call a function, okay, and that function is not available. You have not written that function. At that point of time also, you'll see that there is a logical error thrown in your program. Okay, runtime error thrown in the program. Okay, now let's discuss. So we know what are the types of errors. Okay, now let's discuss how to handle these errors. Okay, so if I have to handle this error in VbScript, there is one statement that these guys have provided, and that is known as on error resume next. Okay, you can divide this statement into two parts. First is the on error. That means if there is any error, resume next, go to the next statement, suppress that error and go to the next statement. Okay. So if I write this statement here, remember one thing once again. Okay, even on if I write this statement, this will not suppress the syntactical error. You have to fix the syntactical error, but this will suppress what? My logical error and my runtime error. So if I execute this program now, what will happen? That my program will get executed and my error will be suppressed. Okay. But as an automation engineer, my goal is always not just to suppress the error, not just to make sure that my execution goes till end, okay, but also to report that what error actually occurred and at which place it occurred, so that I can fix it. Okay. So first of all, in order to do the error handling, we need to identify the piece of the code. We need to identify the location, probable piece of code wherein the error could occur. Okay. Once we have identified that, like on this, okay, whenever you are assigning a value, no error is going to occur. The error, if error will be generated, it will be generated only at this location, okay. And I can suppress this with the help of on error resume next, okay. So what happens when we suppress the error, okay? There is a error object. There is an inbuilt error object in VbScript ERR, okay? There is an inbuilt error object. So as soon as you start your execution, script execution, what happens? This error object is initialized to a value. This error object, we can say, is initialized to a value 0. Internally, to every error that can occur, if it is a runtime error or logical or syntactical error, a error number is associated internally in VbScript, okay. So as soon as any error is generated and you have suppressed that error, this error object will get updated with that number, and you can and there will be a description attached to it, so you can ultimately find out, okay, what error did occurred at this place, okay. I'll show you with example. So let's say here I say message box err dot number, okay, and I give a message error number before error, and there is one more property to it, that is description, okay. So error description before error. Now let's try to print it after the error. Once the error is generated, what happens after that, okay, so that it would be very much clear to everybody, like initially what was the value of error dot number, error dot description, what it was holding, and then once error is generated, how it gets updated, okay. Okay, so it says there is a syntactical error. Look, we have to concatenate this. So we are concatenating two strings, okay. Now let's try to execute it. Say my error dot number before any error was 0. My description was, there is no error description since there is no error generated till this location. Now I got an error, okay, at line number 32 where division by 0 was occurred. So it is giving me there is a error number 11 and there is a error description associated to it, that is division by 0. I can use this error message to report the issue, okay. So generally what happens is that, okay, this combination of this error on error resume next and this reporting thing is done within a function, okay. When we write a function, in that function generally the first line of the code is on error resume next, we execute the function, and at the end of the function we check if there is any error or not. If there is any error, we report that error so that we can decide whether we want to move ahead with execution or we want to stop their execution. So we want to keep the control in our hand rather than QTP having the control that it is throwing an error when error is occurred. We want to keep control in our hand so that we can decide, okay, this is the error, I want to continue the execution or I want to skip the execution, whatever, okay. Now once the error is occurred, okay, and let's say I decided that I have to continue the execution, okay, then I went to the next function. Function 1 was executed, there was some error, I caught it, I reported it, and now I am executing my function 2, and at the end of the program, even though there is no error occurred in function 2, okay, at the end of the program, when I go and check, that what is my error number and what is my error description. What it will give me, it will give me the last error that occurred. That is, still it will give me a division by error occurred at some place. Okay, but I have already reported that, correct? So I don't need that now. Okay, I want to check whether that any new error, any fresh error has occurred into this function 2, then report me, correct? That is what I want now, because the previous error that occurred in function 1, I have already reported it. So in order to achieve it, what we have to do, we have to clear this error object, okay? Because we have reported it, now I want to clear it. So what I'll say error dot clear. This error dot clear will, what it will do, it will clear my error object. Okay, let me try to print the values again here. After clearing error, and let's see what happens. So this is before, this is after, and this is after clearing the error. Now after this point of time, if any fresh error occurs in my program, okay, then what will happen? My error dot number will be updated accordingly. And then in the error handling part, there is a last statement that is known as what is on error go to 0. Okay, on error go to 0. What this is, what this statement does, okay, this refresh the error object the way we did it in the step number 30, that is error dot clear, and what it additionally does, it disables the error handling. Okay, that means after this step, after executing this step, I say again z is equal to x by y and message box z. Okay, so what should happen? I should again see a logical error at this point of time saying that division by 0 error occurred because I have executed on error go to 0 statement. So before it was 0, after error occurred it updated, after error dot clear it became 0, and then at this line again I'm getting an error saying that at line number 47 it is division by 0. Okay, for now guys, just keep all these concepts in mind. Okay, when we'll be doing the frameworks, when we'll be building the frameworks in UFT, okay, we'll be seeing the actual implementation of all these things. Thanks for watching this video guys. Let's meet in the next lecture.